Today, we're going on a walking tour, New York City. So we're going to start on Fifth Avenue. It's December. It's actually during a lockdown period for COVID, so the city looks a little different. It's actually a little quieter. It's a little cleaner, particular time, unusual time. So here we are walking up Fifth Avenue. We're in the 50s. And we're walking towards Central Park. So we're going to wind up in Central Park. Just so happens I find this guy with no shirt on. Everyone else is freezing. It's about 32 degrees and it just snowed 10 inches of snow in Central Park about 3 days ago. So we're walking up Fifth Avenue and you could see all the snow around. And what we do here in New York is we push the snow out of the way, and then it gets a little bit slushy and it gets a little bit dirty after it stays a couple of days. But usually it's sort of a rare thing in the center of the city to have snow for more than a couple of days, because it doesn't really stay below freezing for too long. You know, usually we get a couple of days a year below freezing, and then a couple of days maybe in the summer above 90. So it's pretty much, you know, of course it's seasonal. So here we are walking. These are some of the Christmas decorations, because this is a week before Christmas. So Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to everyone. Happy Kwanzaa. And now we're walking, and you could see the traffic is light because of the COVID lockdown, and everyone is supposed to be wearing masks. So that's why I'm sort of doing these videos, to show how the city looks during this period that is very unique. Okay, so we're continuing up Fifth Avenue, and here we are getting close to, I think, 57th Street. So 56, yes, there's the big Christmas tree decal for Louis Vuitton. So this must be 57th Street, Bulgari, however you say it. And you could see people are out shopping, getting ready for the holidays. So it's very festive with the snow around. Okay, here now we're crossing 57th Street. You could see all the expensive stores. Of course, it's very expensive shopping on Fifth Avenue. And the windows are spectacular. I have many videos on the windows decorated on Fifth Avenue and all over Manhattan. Even Madison Avenue uptown is beautifully decorated, everything. This is Bergdorf Goodman's, and a beautiful store. This is for the ladies' store, and the men's store is on the other side of the street. I mean the east side of the street. Okay, here we head towards 58th Street and Central Park, the Plaza Hotel. They just call it the Plaza, where there's a big fountain. So here we still have some snow. I'd say a couple of more days and all the snow will be gone. You know, it's very rare that it stays more than a week or two in the center of the city. Maybe, of course, in the suburbs where people don't push it around. Okay, now we're going to head towards Central Park. So there's a beautiful fountain and some statues in front of Central Park. And we could pass by and see the Christmas decorations. Okay, so you see the sign 58th Street. Walking north, that's Central Park. There's all hotels. Unfortunately, the hotels are closed down. All the big hotels have to shut down because of the lockdown. So hopefully that will be over soon. That's why I think it's important to have documented these days, the next couple of days, and the previous days of this unique time. Okay, here's the beautiful, there's the gigantic menorah. It's now still Hanukkah, the last day or so of Hanukkah. comes a little earlier this year, and the city puts all these Christmas trees in the fountain. And this year they added a lot of other Christmas decorations, like these balls, Christmas balls, and be very festive with the snow on top. And everyone comes around, of course, to take pictures of the city and all the decorations. So here it is, the plaza, the fountain in front of the Plaza Hotel, and everyone comes around, all young couples, lots of young people in Manhattan. Manhattan is for the young and I guess the rich, the young and the rich. It is a bit expensive, but just to keep up with the energy, usually when you get old, you get a little tired of it. But here's a bride taking some pictures, I guess. So that's the Plaza Hotel, which they're now converting half of it, I think, into condos. Like the Waldorf, they convert part of the hotels into apartments where people live. Alright, so here is the plaza before we get to Central Park with all the beautiful statues, and there's usually horses and carriages around. There's a little less because there's virtually no tourists. A very unusual time where there's no tourists in Manhattan, but of course very few. There's a couple of small boutique hotels open. This week we do not have indoor dining. It's outdoor dining, so you kind of sit under an enclosure outside, and waiters have to serve you outdoors. It's not easy for them, and there's very few people around. Of course, these large restaurants are geared up for everyone coming into the Manhattan, the center of the city, people that live in the outer boroughs that work here, and then tourists from all over the world. So they're gone. So now it's very difficult for the restaurants to survive. If they do survive, they're not making money. So usually you give a little extra tip. Okay, here's Central Park South, and we're going to cross over to Central Park South, the Pierre Hotel, Sherry Medlin, all the beautiful. That was the GM building. I don't know if it changed names by now. And there's Bergdorf's, the men's store. But the city is very clean. It's cleaner than it's ever been. It's a little difficult if you come in. I was just at the Metropolitan Museum the other day. The cafeteria was closed, so it is a little difficult to get around. But if you go to a restaurant for outdoor dining, of course you can go in the restaurant and use their bathroom. But good luck if you don't go to the restaurant. Okay, so here's Central Park, the very beginning of Central Park, which looks different in different neighborhoods. It does have different feelings. So this is the very busy part of the park where there's the duck pond. So this is the most popular part of the park. Usually people on their lunch hour, if the weather is nice, people go and eat their lunch in Central Park. If you're lucky enough to work near there. Okay, so here we are going into Central Park. There's steps everywhere, these beautiful lanterns, and all people enjoying themselves. It's one of my favorite spots in the city, of course, Central Park. Okay, so now we see, we're going to go down these steps. Hopefully I don't slip on it. So we'll go down the steps and see what's happening today in the park. There's in the background, there's the Plaza Hotel. But it's all under renovation now. So while it's closed for COVID, it's under renovation. And everything looks beautiful on the outside. Now they're redoing the inside. So of course children love it in Central Park, especially when there's snow, so they can go sleigh riding. There's a lot of really big hills where you could go cross-country skiing if you wanted to. Maybe it's not that easy, but you could of course go ice skating in the rink, Waldman Rink, or the skating rink in Bryant Park. I believe it's free. Of course, Rockefeller Center has a skating rink, but you can't go skating on this pond because it doesn't really, sometimes it freezes over, but it doesn't really, it depends on the weather. Right now it's not frozen. So now here we are walking down the path. These are the more busier paths in Central Park where people, now, you know, this is a Saturday around 2 o'clock or so in the afternoon, 32 degrees I think it was, very like a light wind, and you could see part of the pond is just starting to freeze. So, and there's always geese that come here in the winter, and of course we have pigeons. I mean, it's there's no real litter now, so it's difficult for the pigeons. All the pigeons are losing weight because there's not much people around, and there's still the same amount of people cleaning. Everything's very clean. There's no litter. Very little. You find a little piece here and there, of course, that some people throw down, but relatively very much cleaner than it usually is. So here's the beautiful scenery with the snow around and the nice paths, and everyone is having fun. They have little snowball fights, they make snowmen, and just enjoy the park. It's like a holiday when you come to the park because you're away from all the busyness of the cars and the shopping and everything, and you just come here and relax. There's many bridges. The park was designed a long time ago, well over 100 years ago, and so all the trees and everything grew in beautiful, and it's sort of planned it to be picturesque. It's not just natural, you know, it's created a bit, you know, they made it look beautiful. And with this pond that looks almost like a little river, it winds around the front part of Central Park. And here are some new buildings. I think that one is a 111 57th Street, over 1,400. This actual one behind me is new too. That's over 1,400 feet in the air. And these are brand new. 3 brand new on 57th Street luxury condos, of course. Most things years ago were office towers, but now almost everything being built is apartment, residential luxury apartments. Very expensive. Millions of dollars for the view. Everyone wants a view of Central. Most people, some want a view of Central Park. For some reason, they think it's. I'd rather have the other view facing south, seeing all of Manhattan. But most people like the view of Central Park with all the buildings surrounding it. So that's why the real estate is very expensive on Central Park South, and of course Fifth Avenue, which is over towards the right. And all along Central Park on the Upper East Side is where Fifth Avenue runs along the park. That's where Central Park starts. So it's very big. It goes from, say, 60th Street up to about 110th Street, something like that. And the air is clean. It's much quieter. In Manhattan, it's much quieter. There's about 1/3 the amount of people where I am in Grand Central Station over here. Grand Central area is about 1/3 because everyone is still working from home. So you don't need to live so close to your office building if you're working from home. So people don't have to live close to their jobs for now. And as things change, who knows what's going to happen in the future? Only time will tell. So here's a beautiful picturesque picture of the Central Park with the snow on the trees and the beautiful pond with the ducks and geese and rats. Hey, wouldn't be New York without a nice mouse running by. And wouldn't be New York if I didn't get mugged on my way through Central Park. But very low crime. The police are very quiet. They don't have much to do because since the bars are all closed, usually people are out until 4 o'clock in the morning drinking, like 5, 6 nights a week, especially Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, when everyone is out. The bars don't close till 4 o'clock, and then sometimes they don't even go home. There's even after hours clubs, and they go out to eat in the diners after they come out of the clubs at 4 in the morning. So all sorts of craziness usually goes on in this town, and it's all stopped. The restaurants had to close by 10 o'clock because of the COVID lockdown, and now I think, yeah, you can have outdoor dining, I guess, until 10 o'clock at night, but no indoor drinking or dining. So it's an unusual, unique time that we need patience, and I want people to see what the city looks like, because a lot of people miss coming into town. They don't come here every day anymore for their jobs, where they go out for lunch, they go out for drinks after work. They come in early, they do, spend full days in the city. When you work here, you're here most of the time, but since they're working from home, they're not here. Okay, so now we're walking west. So we're in Central Park. We started off at 5th Avenue and 60th Street, and we came a little bit in. We didn't go deep into the park, and this is the more busy midtown part of the park where you see all the buildings. Of course, when you go up north, then you are lost in the woods, and there's beautiful hills and gigantic rocks and paths, walking trails through Central Park, waterfalls and beautiful water features. There's the fountain, and then there's the boathouse and all that. So there's different, it looks very natural. There's mostly just park benches and lanterns, and that guide your way through. People, even after dark, years ago, people were afraid to be in Central Park late at night, but now people feel very safe. So this is the skating rink, Wallman Rink, that people go skating all the time. I don't know what they charge. Some of them are free. Then people would normally, it's different. It's unusual. So there's sort of a normal amount of people here. It would be, of course, a little bit maybe busier in different sections, but it's sort of almost, we're getting back to normal. Let's hope so. Okay, so now here's the entrance to the skating rink. We go into the rink. As you can see, everyone wears masks here in the city because our governor is very strict, and we have that beautiful skyline with the sun just coming through this hazy, cloudy, it's like an overcast, cloudy day, almost like a day where it could snow or flurries, but we don't think there's going to be any more snow. Let's hope there's not, even though it looks pretty. I always enjoyed the snow. I always had to go out and take pictures anytime it's snow. And it's sort of a event when it snows in New York, because some years it doesn't snow much. Last year I don't think it snowed that much, and then it depends. You could have 2 feet of snow and it hangs around for a long time. Eventually people push it out of the way. Okay, now this is the rink, but no one's ice skating now because they're cleaning the ice. Here's the very large buildings. You can see how tall and thin these newer buildings are. I think one is called Steinway Tower, and the other one, they call it Central Park Tower. And there's 9 West 57th Street. That's that black and white building. Of course, the Essex House has the sign on top, the hotel. And that on the left is, I think, 456 Park Avenue, which is also new and very tall, over 1,000 feet, I believe. These I know are 1,400, very tall, taller than the Empire State Building. Yeah, now there's a couple of buildings, maybe 5, 6 buildings as tall as the Empire State Building and the World Trade Tower, of course. Almost the same height. Even though that World Trade Tower is supposed to be 1,776 feet, but that's the top of the spire. Okay, here we are walking. Beautiful snow. Everyone's happy because it's unusual to see the snow, and then it's unusual to see it last. Especially in Manhattan, it gets pushed away. Every car gets moved, and within a couple of days, so it's gone. But the kids are enjoying the snow, especially sleigh riding. It's a lot of fun. No one has traditional sleds. They all have these crazy blow-up sleds and all these different sleds. Okay, there's that beautiful sun again. It's low in the summer, even though the sun is not going to set for a while. It's very low on the horizon in the winter. If it was summertime, it would be higher. Traveling straight over Central Park more than looks like it's over down south of Manhattan. Here's another angle of these large new buildings. No one has moved in yet because they're brand new, so I don't think it's occupied. And here's one of the many bridges that were built to be picturesque and to walk. You walk around in a nice curvy path, and under and over, people are walking on top. They could go underneath, and mostly just built for its beauty, the beauty of the bridge. So here we are, some people walking. Most people are Christmas shopping, even though Christmas is not the same as every other year. It's like the Christmas that almost wasn't, the year that almost wasn't, and wasn't the Christmas that wasn't. So not easy for everyone. Everyone misses seeing their family and everyone and enjoying their friends and the holidays. So, but at least we could go out, take a walk, you wear your mask, and soon it will all be over. Okay, here's the kids having fun. The trees and the streams and all the fields. And I think it's 800 acres, 843 acres, 1.3 square miles, Central Park. So there's plenty of room, and the interactions with the people and the sports and the skaters and they used to have the roller skaters, now whatever the kids, the skateboard, brand new condos, and Columbus Circle, very beautiful with the shops. It's like a mall. You can't call it a mall. It's the shops at Columbus Circle. Okay, the shops closed. But Columbus Circle is a beautiful spot to jump into Central Park because you escape from the craziness of the city. And here you are in this beautiful, quiet place. Serene, mellow, people walking their dogs, reading, sitting quietly Usually the benches are full of people. Like now, during this very special time of lockdown, it's different. Usually there would be a lot more people around, and then of course the snow would bring more people out, because it's a unique experience to see. I think they said it was 10 inches of snow or less, no more than that fell. So now I guess it was 3 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, and it's still around because it stayed right at freezing. So, but usually it melts. We're right by the ocean. The warm ocean water keeps us usually free of the snow from lingering here in the city. But it's so beautiful to walk even from along the rivers if it's not too windy, even in the winter. So this is the beginning of the winter's shortest day. So by 5 o'clock it's dark already, because this is December, so very short days, and but beautiful sunsets right around dinner time now. So all these different bridges and things you have in Central Park, and these gigantic granite stones that in the summer you would be climbing on the stones and just hanging out with your friends, or climbing up there and eating your lunch or something, now that it's lunchtime in Central Park. So it's really a beautiful place to behold. And look at these buildings. 1,450 feet tall. So now you can get an apartment on the top. And it's so thin, I guess you could see some Central Park, and then you could see, you turn around and you see you look over Manhattan, and then you look out over Central Park. You're on top of the world in one of these apartments on 57th Street. So all brand new, but these enormous granite hills that are in Central Park, because the rest of the city was leveled. All of Midtown was all leveled in the grid system, and Central Park beautifully calculated, and it just fits so beautiful where. That's what if I wasn't in New York, that is what I would miss more than any other part of Manhattan. I would miss Central Park. So here is the beautiful and fashionable Central Park South, where all of the apartments for many years, and the hotel, of course, the Plaza Hotel and all those hotels on Central Park South. And it's usually a very quiet, because it's a very wealthy area. And of course, Fifth Avenue and the Upper East Side also is very wealthy, so it's very quiet. But then on the West Side, then it gets a little louder. So now we're heading towards the West Side, like we were saying, Columbus Circle. That's what we're going from. The East Side, Fifth Avenue, walking through Central Park, zigzagging over the bridges, under the bridges, through the city, and through the park, through the woods, to Grandma's house. And my grandmother, of course, lived in East Harlem on the other side of the park. She was hit by a taxi at Central Park North. So now walking west. So we're gonna wind up in Columbus Circle. So Columbus Circle, beautiful monument, and it's all redone, and I guess it was restored back to a traffic circle, even though traffic circles don't really work well in New York. They did manage a way to keep it like a traffic circle and just to slow down the cars. That's the whole point lately. What they're doing, you have to slow down the cars and lower the speed limit. It's very low now. I don't know what it is, 25 miles an hour, any car going over. And then we have all bus lanes, double Madison Avenue, 2 bus lanes, not just one, two bus lanes. Then we have the bike lanes everywhere, which I think now are starting to make sense, and the scooters. People all drive these scooters, and I guess they bring them in their apartment, the muddy wheels, and they have to plug them in their apartment, so they must bring the scooters in the apartment. I don't know. I'm not a scooter person yet. You never know. But they have to plug them in. They have a lot of these electric scooters. Some of them have fat wheels and they go pretty fast. So they look like fun. But I have a bicycle. I use it, but mostly on the bike route along the river's edge. We should go there one day with the video cameras. So right now it's holiday season, Christmas time, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and the snow came a week before Christmas, and it should really be gone. I would predict it should be mostly gone in the city by Christmas, hopefully, because it's sort of in the way. We're not used to it. Cars can't get around, people get stuck. Unless you have a truck, a lot of people have trucks, but in the city they don't. Okay, so now we're heading towards Columbus Circle and the beautiful scenery with the trees that just a month ago had leaves on them, 2 months ago had leaves on them, now have snow on them. Very beautiful, picturesque place to sit and get away from the hustle and bustle and craziness of the city, mostly because the cars, even though I am a car person, but the noise of the cars is a lot less now during this very unique time of lockdown of COVID. And so the car noise is definitely down. Traffic is definitely down, you could, and of course accidents, definitely, there's less accidents and everything. Everyone is very healthy here in New York. We have a very low infection rate today, never, and now we hope to keep it low with this holiday season in 2020. Okay, so we hope to go to New Year's Eve live with my Facebook friends. We go live on Facebook with the video on the street. So here we are documenting this unique experience of the snow and the holidays and the COVID and everything. And I try to run the camera with my Steadicam, and I love it. And I try not to cut. Just roll the camera, walk naturally, and try to go slow so I don't make it too bumpy. And I'm enjoying the shooting because I love to walk. I was the person that lived in Manhattan, but I did a reverse commute and worked in Queens as a photographer. I worked in Queens. I had a photography studio for over 35 years in Queens. So I did a reverse commute. So when I would come to Manhattan, I would just be enjoying myself, going to museums, going to restaurants, things, whatever. So I always walked everywhere. And that's what I enjoy mostly about Manhattan. And also Brooklyn. We hope to go to Brooklyn and Williamsburg. But walking the streets of Manhattan and walking the same streets over and over again could get repetitious, but that does happen, unfortunately, because of your commute and, of course, where you live. And now people aren't commuting, so everyone is sort of, I guess, staying in their own neighborhood. So you see people that your neighbors are all now your family. Your neighbors become like your family through this COVID lockdown, where you try not to be with your family because you don't. Right now, hopefully, This video will be seen at a better time when it's over. But right now we're documenting this occasion of when we're under this lockdown. No indoor dining, only outdoor dining. And that is, we're actually on a curfew, 10 o'clock. If I was young, I wouldn't pay any attention to any of this. Good thing I'm not young. So, here we are in Columbus Circle, a beautiful place. I used to come here sketching the statues. I went to school around the corner here at the Art Students League. I still go there, the Art Students League on 57th Street. So we kind of went the equivalent of maybe 60 in the 60s from Fifth Avenue westward if there were streets and the grid system. In fact, you could walk through Central Park and tell your friend, oh, I'm at a certain lamppost, and it'll tell you we were at 66th Street or 63rd Street, and there's the other number, I don't know what that means, but you could find someone in Central Park with the lanterns, a very small badge, like a silver badge. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I did enjoy doing it because I do like walking around Manhattan and showing people that it's safe here. Everyone treats each other very nicely, and there's very little looting or anything going on. So I hope to see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe. So until next time, ciao.